Before someone tells you Glock is cheap, it's not. I get it. Glock ain't exactly cheap, but for new shooters on a budget, it's still untouchable. The king, the standard, the can't go wrong pick. Yeah? Well, then explain how a budget gun, yes, a budget gun, just outsold it in multiple states last quarter. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not making this up. Gun stores are seeing it, carry trainers are recommending it, and half the guys at the range, they're not running Glocks anymore. They're running something that costs half as much and doesn't choke. Look, I still love my Glock, but when I actually pulled the numbers, it was embarrassing. This budget pistol didn't just show up, it showed up and slapped Glock across the face with a price tag and said, "I dare you to keep up." And that's not the only one. Today, we're counting down 7 budget guns that are stealing Glock's throne, one trigger pull at a time. This ain't about Glock hate, it's about the fact that cheaper guns are finally catching up and in some cases, passing Glock. Reliability, features, and price. You'll see it for yourself, and at the very end, I'll show you the exact model that actually beat Glock in sales. Now, if you think Glock is still king, watch this first. Let's start with number 7. You know what? Why does nobody talk about the Ruger Security 9 anymore? Just because it doesn't feel premium, looks a little dirty? Yeah, they didn't bother with an optics-ready version either. It's getting old. That's why wise men always say old is gold. But guess what? The S9 isn't gold. It just sells quietly. It broke sales records in 2024 on guns.com consistently, like that one dude at the range who doesn't say much but outshoots everybody with reloads and a worn-out holster. This thing has been flying under the radar for years and people still ignore it. Nevertheless, it still outsells some of those fancy and lightweight polymer guns people hype up on Reddit. Why, you ask? Well, it's because for the price of a used air fryer and a couple of burritos, you get a full-size hammer-fired 9mm with a 15-round mag and a trigger that, yes, isn't great, but it still works. And most importantly, it doesn't try to be a Glock copy like half the other guns on this list. You'd be shocked how many Security 9s are being sold to first-time buyers who just want something simple, American, and proven without dropping $600. Look, I'm not telling you to dump your Glock for this, but if you're broke and want something new, this Ruger is like the Honda Civic of carry guns. Maybe not fast, maybe not cool, but it gets you there every time. And the kicker? You can find them for under $300. That's 2 months of gas or a gun that actually goes bang when you need it. The Stoeger STR9 Compact. Before you go forward, let me ask you, have you ever walked past something on the shelf a dozen times, never gave it a second look, and then one day, someone at the range is running it like it's a $1,000 custom gun? Well, this is the thing. Now, Stoeger's not some flashy brand like Glock or SIG. It's Beretta's budget cousin. That's right, Beretta owns it, but they don't brag about it, and that's just fine, because the STR Compact, it punches way above its weight. Under $300, you get this brand new with optics-ready options, front slide serrations, and even a decent trigger. Tell me how this ain't the same features people pay for on some premium guns. Most people ignore it because it's not a Glock, SIG, or a CZ. The Stoeger is no big name, no fan club, no influencer riding its jock. But you know who's buying it? People who just don't care about hype. People who care that it runs, and it does. It's got Glock-style mags, steel sights that don't suck, and it's compact enough to carry without needing a tent-sized hoodie. Also, comment down below, do you think they copied Glock? The only reason this gun isn't more popular, cause folks still think cheap means junk. I've been using the STR9s for more than a year. It eats everything from steel-cased crap to hot reloads without a single hiccup. Honestly, I don't have any issues with this gun. You won't find it in most gun store glass cases glowing under neon lights, but dig a little more and you'll see the numbers. It's selling, and a lot, mind you. The only downside though is finding holsters. But guess what? If you can use a screwdriver, you can fix that too. Now, if that doesn't fill your tummy, the next one might give you a real shock. You remember when Kel-Tec used to be the weird kid in class? folding rifles, guns that looked like prototypes, and triggers that felt like soggy spaghetti? Yeah, well, the P15 showed up wearing a clean shirt, a real trigger, and suddenly everyone's looking twice. Let me say it straight. The Kel-Tec P15 may be the best thing they've made in the last 10 years, and no, I'm not being sarcastic. It's slim, stupid light. We're talking 14 ounces, and it packs 15 rounds, mind you. That's lighter than a SIG P365 and holds more than a Glock 19. Try arguing with that math. One of my buddies in Houston picked it up as a joke, said, "I'll run it until it breaks." 6 months later, he's still carrying it every day. Says it's the first Kel-Tec he didn't have to apologize for. Says it's the one gun that made his Glock 19 feel like a brick in gym shorts. Online, same story. You'll see guys calling it a hidden gem, especially when you factor in the price. Sub $400 in most places, optics ready variant 2 if you keep looking around. Yes, it's not built so strong, and no, it won't impress the Glock fanboys at your local range, but if you're after something that's light, reliable, and gets out of the way when you carry it, the P15 is a straight up sleeper hit. It's not trying to be the next polymer overlord, but it is quietly stealing pockets from SIG and Glock, one lightweight carry at a time. Alright, let me say this. This gun gets clowned on way too much. I don't know why people treat the SD9 VE like it's the punchline to every budget gun joke. Maybe it's the chunky slide, or maybe it's that 8-pound trigger that feels like you're dragging a lawnmower cable through peanut butter. But here's what no one wants to admit. This thing still sells big. Like it or not, people are buying the hell out of it. And you know why? Because while gun snobs are busy flexing their $1,200 setups on Reddit, the rest of us just want something that shoots straight and doesn't cough up the ghost at the worst time. You want performance? This gun runs steel cased, reloads, junk ammo, you name it. The trigger may suck, but I've seen way worse on guns that cost twice as much. At least this one breaks the same way every time. And if you want to talk about safety, it's right where it needs to be. No thumb gymnastics required. Now, you're not buying this gun to impress anybody. You're buying it because it works, because it doesn't try to be a Glock clone or an affordable SIG alternative or whatever label marketing guys want to slap on plastic these days. It's a Smith. It's basic, but it's honest. You'll find it for under $300 damn near everywhere. So if you're broke, tired of hype, and just want a piece that bangs, this might be your last stop before freedom. Let's clear the air. Taurus doesn't have the cleanest history. I could mention the G2C, but it didn't meet my expectations. That's my personal issue. We'll discuss it in a different video. A decade ago, you couldn't bring one to the range without hearing someone snicker, but the G2C, this turned a corner fast. I've seen this gun run with the dirtiest steel ammo I had lying around. Almost zero issues. I picked it up for just under $300. Not used, not pawn shop scratched up, brand spanking new. It even comes with 2 steel mags, and they even throw in that little pinky extender that actually helps. Unlike most guns in this price range, the grip is aggressive but not annoying. You don't feel like you're holding a cheese grater. It's one of those rare budget guns that doesn't feel like you're compromising everything. It has the perfect size for concealed carry. Not a pocket gun, but you're not going to print through a hoodie either. Now let's discuss negatives, because yes, they do exist. The trigger's long and gritty, like pulling through wet Velcro, and Taurus gave it both internal and external safeties, which feels a bit overprotective, like thanks mom, I got it. And if you're the type who likes pimping out your carry gun with red dots and flared magwells, good luck. There's not much room for customization here. But for someone just getting into handguns, or anyone who wants a no-nonsense backup piece, the G2C isn't a joke anymore. It may not be a Glock, but it gets the job done, and sometimes that's all that really matters. If you're still finding the right budget gun for yourself, maybe the next one will fix your list. Let's check it out. The PSA Dagger Compact. You know when a gun shows up and suddenly everyone's whispering, "Hey, is this the Glock killer?" That's what the PSA Dagger tried to be, and you know what? It actually pulled it off, at least partially. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, it's a Glock clone. Parts compatibility, grip angle, takedown style. It's basically a Gen 3 Glock 19 with some attitude, but the kicker is the dagger feels good. The grip texture's legit, the slide cuts look better than Glock's own factory stuff, and depending on the version, you're getting optics-ready slides, threaded barrels, and night sights all under $350. Now, I've run 1,000 rounds through a dagger, mostly budget ammo, and even some nasty steel-cased leftovers. Zero malfunctions, slide locked back every time, mags fed clean. It doesn't have that Glock polish, but it's damn close. Now here's the warning label. PSA's customer service is hit or miss. If you get a lemon, you might have to wait a bit. And while the trigger is better than old Glock Gen 3s, it's still got a plastic feel that's more meh than wow. But for the price, for what you're getting out of the box, I don't know what else you could want. I've got buddies who carry daggers daily and haven't touched their Glock since then. So if you want Glock vibes without Glock pricing and don't mind skipping the logo, the dagger might be your next daily driver. Now let's move to a sleeper you probably forgot existed. I'll just cut to the chase. This handgun is awesome. The Canik TP9SF has become my go-to recommendation when someone says, "Hey man, I need a solid gun, but I don't want to drop $800. This ain't one of those junk tier pistols you regret buying in 6 months. You want a cheap gun that actually runs like it belongs in a higher league? This is it. Seriously, it punches way above its class. Easily one of the best striker fire triggers you'll find on any gun under $500. And I felt worse on guns that cost double. Fit and finish? It's got slide serrations, a loaded chamber indicator, crisp reset, steel sights that don't suck, and it just feels damn solid in the hand. You get that full-size confidence without that full-size regret when it's time to carry. Sure, it's big, but throw it in an OWB holster or toss it in your truck, and it makes a killer wrench or backup gun. And let's be real, is it better than a Glock 17? Nah. I'm still grabbing a Glock, SIG, CZ, or HK if duty calls. But if I'm on a budget, or I need something I don't mind beating up a little, this is the one I'm picking without hesitation. Downsides? Sure, it's not optics ready unless you pay for a different variant, and holster options aren't as deep as Glock's Ocean, but for what you pay, you're not just getting a budget gun, you're getting a legit shooter that holds its own. If you're new, if you're broke, or you just want something to toss in the toolbox that works, the TP9SF is that gun. Still want a budget reliable Glock? I understand. Some folks just sleep better knowing they've got a Glock on their ship, and that's understandable. But here's the thing. If you're shopping on a budget, paying full price for a Glock right now is borderline dumb. Yep, I said it. The Glock 43X is the only one I'd still call a deal if you know where to look. I've seen used 43X models going for under $400, sometimes closer to $350 if it's a police trade-in. And if you're in military, law enforcement, or even a security guard in some states, Glock's Blue Label program drops the price even further. Even for civilians, it's still a solid budget option. Look, if you're still dead set on buying a Glock and trying to save a few bucks on you, the 43X is probably your only decent option. That's it. It's not special, it's not high capacity, but it's light, simple, and does what Glock's known for. It just works. Nothing more, nothing less. And if anyone ever tries to tell you Glock's basically mandatory if you're American, yes, someone actually said that to me, just nod and smile. Just don't be that guy who pays $600 for one at a local shop when there's literally a pile of them online for half of that. Be smart. Be broke, but be smart. Alright guys, that's it. I'm not here to sell you dreams or even pitch you Gucci guns. These are the ones that work. The ones I trust if money's tight, ammo's dirty, and backup's not coming. Call them budget guns if you want, but they've been in enough glove boxes, tool drawers, and waistband holders to earn their damn respect. You don't need a $1,200 sidearm to defend your life. You just need one that goes bang every time you squeeze it and won't choke when things get ugly. So if you made it this far, drop a comment. Tell me what your no-fail cheap gun is, or tell me which one on this list you wouldn't touch with a 7-foot pole. I don't care if you agree. I just want to hear from folks who actually run their guns, not polish them for likes. Anyways, I'm Steve from Guns and Roses. Hit that like if you're not allergic to the truth, subscribe if you want more straight shooting talk, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay dangerous.